Now, a primary school head teacher, has vowed to report parents to social services if they let their children use Facebook. Paul Woodward made the comments at the National Association of Head Teachers conference in Harrogate.
Now, under Facebook's own rules, children under the age of 13 are not supposed to have an account, but it's thought that 1 in 5 12-year-olds does have one anyway. So,
should head teachers be stepping in, or is it up to parents to monitor children's social networking? We're joined by the internet consultant Annie Bannister. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, Annie.
Hi.
Well, let's start and ask you that. What do you think? If you've got, say, a 10-year-old child who wants to have a Facebook account, do you let them?
I think nowadays they're actually saying about half of children aged 10 up to 13 have now got Facebook accounts. Certainly in my daughter's class when she was year 7, which are 11 and 12-year-olds, about 80% of them had Facebook accounts. So I think rather than saying should or shouldn't they have them, I think a lot of them are just opening them anyway. I think it's much more about trying to get them educated about what they're doing.
But what this head teacher says is, well, Facebook's own rules say that a child aged under the age of 13 shouldn't have an account. So parents, therefore, should follow these rules as well and enforce these rules.
Absolutely. It is Facebook's rules. The reason Facebook have them is because there's a there's a law over in the US that says under 13s have to have parental consent before they give information onto websites, and this is why Facebook do it. But obviously there are ways around rules, as we all know. I think when there's a lot of peer pressure or their friends are all chatting on Facebook, it's a very hard call for a parent to say, no, you are not doing it. I think it's much better for the parent to just work with the child at using it safely, because after all our children are growing up into an internet-aware age. Everything we do is on the internet nowadays. We have to educate them on that.
This head teacher who's made a speech at the NAHT conference said that he would shock parents to social services if their children were doing this, because he says having a Facebook account potentially opens up the world to children of pornography and violence and all sorts of connections that they shouldn't be making. What do you think of his threat to parents, in effect?
Well, in a way, I'm really pleased he's done this, because he's brought the issue out into the open. What I'm seeing with local schools I'm working with is that they're having at least one incident a week, and this is at primary school level. So they're having to deal with, teachers are, one incident a week to do with Facebook and Facebook bullying primarily. So bring it out in the open so parents can discuss this. I think what we should do is schools should work with parents to help them understand Facebook and the dangers. I run Facebook classes where I get children and parents in the same room, and I tell them you have to lie to get on Facebook, and children don't realise they have to lie to get on Facebook.
And you're teaching them to lie to get onto Facebook?
I'm not teaching them, I'm explaining to them they have to lie to get onto Facebook, and so they need to make a decision, the parent and the child, that they're happy to lie and they're happy to go against Facebook
And what
rules.
do parents say to you when they realise that you have to lie to go onto Facebook? Do they just say, fine, but we're going to let the child go on anyway?
Well, actually, I found that quite a few children that are coming with their parents to my classes are actually leaving the class saying, I'm not going to open up a Facebook account at the moment, I'm going to wait another year. But I think we all have to be realistic that when children get into secondary school, this is when the real trouble starts. Obviously, this headmaster is of a primary school, and I think what he's doing, talking to primary school children like this, is very important. I think when they get to secondary school, it's a whole different ball game. And I think year 7 in particular is an important time to get parents in, get them educated, and get their children set up safely on Facebook.
OK, Annie Bannister, thank you very much for talking to me. We'll be speaking to you later as well on this. Thank you.
As well as to the head teacher who made this call to shock parents like you. So we'll find out. That should be an interesting debate in about an hour's time. Let's have a look at the front pages.
Now, a primary school head teacher has vowed to report parents to social services if they let their children use Facebook.
Yes, children under the age of 13 are not supposed to have a Facebook profile, but it's thought that 1 in 5 9 to 12-year-olds does have an account anyway.
Well, Paul Woodward is a head teacher in the Forest of Dean. He made the comments at the National Association of Head Teachers Conference in Harrogate. He joins us from there now, and on the sofa is internet consultant Annie Bannister. Annie, welcome. Mr. Woodward, let's get to you first. I imagine many parents watching this morning will be divided, actually, but will be rather concerned that teachers or head teachers feel the need to shop parents for not following Facebook rules.
Yes, good morning. It's not about shopping parents, it's about keeping children safe. And that's the aim of raising the issue, is to keep the children safe. And it's about making parents aware of the dangers that children can be exposed to if they go onto the internet and using Facebook accounts, which they're not mature enough to use at that particular age, as Facebook say themselves.
Down to parents' judgment, surely, and if parents are keeping an observant watch on them and following their activity and have given them permission, surely it's up to the parents to decide how mature or how responsible their children are.
Well, if parents are going to safeguard it, that's fine, but to open an account, as was said earlier, they have to lie to get the account open, which is against rules. But the whole point is that schools and head teachers provide opportunities for the parents to know what is available as a safeguard for their children. And there can be safeguards on computers, and that's fine. But schools organise workshops for parents to come along, find out the dangers and then make the decisions. But at the same time, it's still illegal or not proper for them to open an account until they're 13.
Annie, let's turn to you, because you're not only an internet expert, you're also a mum, and you let your daughter have a Facebook account before she was 13.
I did.
So if your children were in his school, he'd be reporting you to social services.
He wouldn't, because I didn't let my daughter have her account till she was in secondary school education. So Paul is in primary education, and I do think that Facebook accounts are not appropriate for primary school children. If parents allow their child to have one, they do need to work very, very closely to safeguard their identity on there, and also just monitor daily almost what they're using Facebook for.
Is it only Facebook, Paul, that you have an issue with, or is it all social networking for children under the age of 13?
Yeah, it's all social networking, and I did say that I would report parents to the Safeguarding Authority if they didn't take any notice of what I was saying and the warnings I was giving them, or making them aware that their child was on a Facebook account. So that would be a totally last resort. It's about talking to parents, working with parents, and working together to keep their child safe.
There are social networking sites designed specifically for children under the age of 13. I'm thinking, Annie, correct me if I'm wrong, is it Club Penguin?
Yes.
If there are social networking sites designed specifically for these younger children, surely there is the argument that this allows them to be educated and comfortable and secure in using these sites for and gaining that experience for when they get older and are allowed to go on sites such as Facebook. Paul?
Yes, I mean, I would totally agree. And if it's a specific child-orientated social networking account, that's fine. But there still can be cyberbullying through all sorts of social media.
We've got an interesting email that's coming here from Mark, who's in Sussex. Good morning to you, Mark. It says that a simple solution to this could be to have a Facebook Junior version of Facebook for under 13s that would have maximum security privacy settings as a default.
Yes.
And is that realistic, or do you think realistically kids today are not going to want to be on Facebook Junior, because the whole point of doing this is they want to be grown up or like the adults?
You've got a very good point. The fact is that Facebook are an American-owned company. They are trying to comply with an American law, which means they have to get parental consent if they are going to collect any information off an under 13-year-old. That would require an awful lot of money, and Facebook would need to say how are they going to monetize, make profit out of a junior Facebook. So I would say that's quite unlikely that they're going to go down that route. But, you know, I never say never, and it would be a great resource. At the end of the day, all of our children are moving and growing into an internet-aware, internet-enabled world. We have to help educate them get there, and unfortunately, us adults are often behind them in terms of their knowledge. So parents need to be sort of open to learning about new things, about Facebook, about social networking, and how their children are going to be using it.
I think this issue is going to cause some division among parents, but for and against. Annie, thank you very much, Annie Bannister. Yeah. And Paul Woodward, head teacher at St White's Primary School, thank you very much for giving us your time this morning.
Hesitate to say it, but there's probably more on our Facebook page on that as well. It's coming up to 8:25. Let's have a look at the